Cinema Wellman. I'm your host, David. Today we have a little bit of Which Was Worse for you. And Which Was Worse takes two really bad films, and we know they're going to be bad, and they have some kind of thematic connection, and we pit them up against each other scientifically using a rubric, and we determine which was worse. Because you know, one of them's got to be worse than the other. We started this on the blog. The first was Avalanche Sharks versus Sharks of the Corn. And then the second one we did was a podcast, and that was Air Collision versus Turbulent Skies. So we did a couple of bad airplane movies. Today we're going to stick with conveyances, but we're going to stay a lot closer to the ground. And today we're going to put up against each other Creep Van from 2012, and that's going to go up against Bus Party to Hell from 2017. Now, on paper, they both look like disasters. They also looked really bad on my TV screen, so no surprise, and that's the way this is designed. I did not expect to be surprised and walk away from either of these saying to myself, wow, that was so good. I'm gonna have to look for that on DVD. No, they're both trash, and again, we are deciding which one was worse. Now, as you know, or may know, IMDb has a rating system, and it's crowdsourced, so it's people, it's everybody, and in some cases it's 200 people voting, and in some cases it's thousands and thousands. In any event, they give them stars. It's 0 to 10, and these two films, Creep Van and Bus Party to Hell, combined for a total score of 7.9 stars on IMDb. Just to give you an idea, you see Knives Out? Almost Famous? How about This Is Spinal Tap? Also, 7.9. On Their Own. So here's two movies added up together that come up with a 7.9, and we have these other films that are 7.9, all on their own. On the blog, cinemawellman.com, I put a link to the trailers. So if you want to pause this and go there and look at the trailers, or go right to YouTube and watch the trailers for Creep Van and watch the trailer for Bus Party to Hell, then you might know, you have a better idea of what I was going through while I was watching these. Little reminder of we have a rubric. This is from my school teaching days. You got to have a rubric. You live by the rubric, you die by the rubric. And the rubric, the official Which Was Worse rubric for Cinema Wellman, breaks it down into story, plotline, script, acting, special effects, self-awareness, and effort. And the highest you can get on the rubric is a 1, and the lowest you can get is a -3. So let's see how this all happened. Let's go first with Creep Van. On the rubric, Creep Van was awarded 0 points for story, -1 for acting, 0 for special effects, -1 for self-awareness, and a 1 for effort. That's a total of -1 going into what I call the lightning round. And each indiscretion earns another negative point unless otherwise noted. All right? So here we go. And this is Creep Van. Pretty much the first line of the film is only bad people own vans. Okay, thanks, Mom. A hoodlum attempting to break into the Creep Van climbs in the passenger window and is sliced in half by some guillotine window that the Creep Van guy has put into. It's one of the features of Creep Van. That was good. I give them an extra point for that. That's not a negative, that's a positive. The opening credits, seizure-inducing. I almost had to pause them. Awful. Ridiculous. At one point, they feature the idiot protagonist, and that's how we will be referred to going forward. The idiot protagonist is, he's looking for a job, and it's hard to find a job because he doesn't have a car, and that's where the Creep Van comes in. He sees that the Creep Van is for sale, and he tries to buy the Creep Van, setting up this cat and mouse game between this idiot protagonist and Creep Van guy. So he goes to a car wash to look for a job, and at the car wash there's a sign that they linger on. So they want us to read it, and they want us to look at it, and they want us to go through the whole thing. And it was a thinly veiled, very unfunny sex joke. and it had a website address. And so I looked up the website and there was nothing. That's lazy. Other movies do it. You can do it too. It doesn't take much. Set up a website, set up a fake website for a month or whatever. It's not that difficult. Other movies do it all the time. This had nothing. I really was going to give points if that fake website with their stupid joke that wasn't funny, if they at least built something to back it up, I thought maybe I'd give them a point, but no. Next, driver of the creep van picks up an obnoxious hitchhiker who won't shut up. Creep van guy is very patient, but he's had enough, and he pushes in the lighter on the dashboard, and a spike comes through the chest of the hitchhiker. Also a +1 because that hitchhiker was very obnoxious. Here is a line that is spoken to a black character. Bro, you best get back to work, yo. All right. I mean, are we supposed to like this idiot protagonist, or do we want him to be murdered by the creep van? I know what I was thinking. Next, the idiot protagonist has a friend who appears to want to be a pro wrestler. He also may live in a doghouse that's in his own driveway. This is never explained at all. A female buyer for Creep Van goes to visit Creep Van guy to inquire about the availability of said Creep Van. And as she's peering in it, she jokes, quote, "How many girls have disappeared after a ride in this?" And then soon after that, she is cut to ribbons by a seatbelt. Is that joke supposed to be funny? To refer to like kidnappings and murders? I don't know. Again, now this is I should have mentioned this earlier. This is listed as a horror comedy, but it's not funny. I mean, there's really very little in this that's funny at all. Example, there's a mess that needs to be cleaned up, and character 1 says, "I'll get the hose." Character 2 quips, "Hookers have nothing to do with this." Hardy har har. There's gratuitous nudity. Of course, you would expect that. The doghouse guy's girlfriend apparently doesn't own clothing because every time we see her, she is topless. Here's some other great tidbits from the screenplay. Guy, would you like a beer? Girl, sure. Get me buzzed and you might have a fighting chance. Girl then drinks 1 sip of beer, puts the beers down, and starts making out with the guy. Make up your mind. What are you doing? That was just all sorts of confusing for me and everyone else that was probably watching at the time. Later, valet parking attendant killed by a spiked airbag. Very creative, almost earned a point, but valet parking guy did not deserve to die with all these spikes in him, so you don't get any points at all. They use the R word. I remind myself, when was it? Not that that's ever okay to use. And I looked at him, oh, okay. Well, when was it made? 2012. What? No. Again, never acceptable, but probably used a while ago. A lot of things were. People did blackface in movies a while ago. Doesn't mean we still do it. This needs to be retired. That's a -2 for this. Idiot protagonist at one point claims he's looking for his girlfriend/co-worker all afternoon. His words. Even though there's only a total of 5 employees at this car wash, and it's a car wash. Have you ever gotten lost in a car wash? The answer to that is no. Next, idiot protagonist breaks into the creep van while creep van guy is in the hardware store buying serial killer stuff. Duct tape, box cutters, the standard fare. One of the all-time dumbest things that I've ever seen included in a film, and that's saying a lot. There is a montage in this film between wrestler roommate and perpetually naked girlfriend, and there's a montage of supposedly funny, slapsticky sex scenes between the two of them. And it had no business, in even this awful movie, it had no business being there. This is a horror movie, and all of a sudden they go, this stuff was straight out of Airplane. Actually, I shouldn't say that because Airplane was clever. It was brutal. It was brutal. Now, the only thing that saves this is that Creep Van guy drives straight into the house and kills wrestler boyfriend and perpetually naked girlfriend, kills them while they're having sex in the house, and he gets 2 points for that. Again, now actively rooting for Creep Van and Creep Van guy. Next, Creep Van kills everyone at the car wash. He impales a guy on a muffler. Style points, but I'm not quite sure that the stoner workers and the creepy boss, the boss keeps talking to his employees about erectile dysfunction. I mean, who wrote this and why? They quite didn't deserve to be so stylistically murdered, in my opinion. There is an awful character named Swami Ted in this movie, who I read on IMDb is based on Ted Nugent. There's right away, okay? And he appears for little to no reason at all, and then is dispatched by Creep Van guy with the old van antenna, the jugular crip to trick. And thanks again, Creep Van guy, for taking care of idiot Swami Ted, and hopefully Ted Nugent in some way, shape, or form. Next, idiot protagonist accidentally kills his girlfriend with a tire iron into her open mouth. Yes, you did hear what you just heard. That's what happens when you lash out with a tire iron without looking. Now, the girlfriend was really the only remotely likable character in this entire film. And now that she's dead, I spent the rest of the movie just rooting for the rest of the cast to be killed off by Creep Van guy. Next, idiot protagonist guy turns the tables on Creep Van guy, gets behind the wheel of the Creep Van. Creep Van guy peeks his head into the passenger side window. Did he forget that there's a guillotine window? Come on, Creep Van guy. You created this. You built this. You're the Creep Van engineer. And yet, he puts his face in there a little. Our idiot protagonist hits the little button. I don't know how he figured out which one was which. And it doesn't cut off Creep Van guy's head. It slices off his face. Now, I'm not sure why they chose that. It certainly was a nasty image, and that's probably why. Here's the end. And again, with these Which Was Worse, I'm telling you everything. There's all the spoilers be darned. I'm just gonna tell you it all because I don't want you to watch any of these, okay? Unless it's just for kind of weird satisfaction. At the end, the police show up after Creep Van guy's face is sliced off by the guillotine window, and idiot protagonist, not only does he get arrested and charged with all the murders, all of them. Creep Van guy, he kills, Creep Van guy. So he supposedly killed the 3 people at the car wash as well. He did kill his girlfriend, so he should have gone to prison for that anyway. Seatbelt girl. There's another girl who opens up the Creep Van because she likes the music. She deserved to die. And so there's like 8-9 murders that Creep Van guy pulled off that idiot protagonist is being blamed for. Not only does he get blamed for them, he goes to prison. Film ends with idiot protagonist in his orange jumpsuit sitting in his cell listening to catcalls from other prisoners. Cut to, here's a shot of the Creep Van in the police impound. Gate slides closed. Roll credits. That's the end of Creep Van. Yikes. Final score? -17. Atrocious, you might say. Correct, it is atrocious. But how will it fare going up against Bus Party to Hell? I have a feeling that Bus Party to Hell is going to be worse because Tara Reid's part of it. She alone should be worth a -5. And I thought that going in, and yet I was wrong. Not about the movie, but about the inclusion of Tara Reid. So let's take a look at Bus Party to Hell. When we plugged Bus Party to Hell into the rubric, it earned -2 points for the story, -2 for acting, 0 for special effects, -1 for self-awareness, even though they had Tara Reid, and a -1 for effort. So that's a total of -6 headed into the lightning round and putting it 5 points behind or ahead of Creep Van. So let's see how the points were awarded. What do you got for us, Tara? Top billing is Tara Reid. Now, I'm actually awarding a point for that because she's a good sport and I don't dislike her. So, 1, that's a plus, and I don't think any of the rest of it's going to be plus. The bus is heading to Burning Man. Forget that. Tara, in one of the opening scenes, I think it is the opening scene, saws someone's head off. The guy's wearing a Slash kind of top hat, and she doesn't cut his head off. She saws it off. So there's like, she's sawing and there's blood and everything. So I'm figuring, okay, so that's where we're going. Lyrics of the song playing over the opening credits include the, we're on a party bus to hell. That's the music. I don't know, maybe the soundtrack's available somewhere. Spotify. There's gratuitous party bus nudity at the 4:39 mark. Not that that was, I knew that was coming. I was kind of surprised that they waited 4 minutes and 39 seconds. The opening credits weren't even over, and I was hoping that everybody on the bus died. I was hoping whoever you're going to reveal as the bad guy, I want them to kill all of these obnoxious characters. Opening again, this is early. Party bus goes over a bump, causing a young woman's naked breast to pop into the open mouth of a young woman on the party bus. So that's the type of thing that we're dealing with here. So you see that, and then you're like, oh, okay. So how are they going to top that? And boy, oh boy, do they try. Later, there's a creepy photographer that actually says there is no such thing as gratuitous female nudity. You want to bet? Watch Party Bus to Hell. That's the definition of it right there. Mummies then show up out of nowhere, and before they kill a girl, they remove her bikini top because I guess mummies do that. Now, whilst she is being killed by the mummies, the creepy photographer shrugs his shoulder, ha, and snaps photos of her as she's being killed by the mummy because she's now topless. She's being murdered. I did mention that, right? I did. And he's taking photos of her because I guess this is a comedy. He's then cut in half by the mummies, so that's a definite +1. He couldn't die soon enough. Tara Reid is at the 12.5-minute mark, is run over and killed by the party bus. She's the, and I know other movies have done this. You know, the Scream movies did this and stuff like that. But this is Tara Reid, and she's arguably the best part of this mess. It's like you're watching, hey, Sharknado for what it's worth. She's, in it, as they say. And she brings whatever that is to this, and at 12.5 minutes, they're like, boop, maybe her salary ran out. In any event, I was sad to see Tara leave. At the very end, right after she's hit by the bus, the headless, the severed head of the guy the Slash guy, shows up and like is in her face going, I told you this was going to happen. And they never explain any of that, and they never go back to it either. So the party bus is then kind of surrounded by this satanic cult, and the satanic cult features a topless girl with a snake. Of course it does. A female victim is force-fed this big snake. Then they cut open the woman's stomach to remove the snake. Again, part of the ritual, I guess. This bit is actually foreshadowing, even though I'm pretty sure the filmmakers have no idea what foreshadowing even is. At one point, one character says out loud, This is a bunch of shit. And as CinemaSins likes to say, something blurted out by the director makes it into the movie. There's a "Can you hear me now" joke. One of the characters, satanic cult characters, whispers into a severed ear, "Can you hear me now?" Was that joke still making the rounds in 2017? Really? Way to be topical, Bus Party to Hell. Now, for some reason, the party bus has been built to be impenetrable, and they talk about that a lot, how they're safe from the cult outside because the bus is impenetrable. And yet, one of the cultists gets on the roof, opens a hatch, pulls a guy out, and cuts his head off. And we get a blood fountain. So that seems like that was pretty easy for a impenetrable party bus. That dude's severed head is then thrown to another cultist. After the person throwing says, "Heads up," ha ha ha, the person catching the severed head is a topless woman who then proceeds to, I believe the term is, motorboard the severed head. Not since Reanimator have we seen the likes of this at Cinema Wellman. The amount of sex mixed with the blood and the bloodletting in this film was troubling. Too much, all on top of one another and intercut and everything. We get it. We understand at least something that you're trying to say. And they trot out the ancient film trope of a film that has a satanic cult, of course. The satanic cult needs to have a virgin. They need to sacrifice a virgin. And, of course, on this party bus that's going to Burning Man, there's a virgin. How fortuitous. And it's the girl whose bare breast popped into that other girl's mouth earlier. I had her pegged as a virgin as soon as I saw her. So that they're bringing up, and I'm saying, oh my God, they're really not going to, that again? That's so worn out, and yet that's one of the pillars this thing is built on. There's a interesting bit about the bus driver's got all these tattoos on her of all snakes and tarantulas and lizards and scorpions and stuff, and the passengers kill her, and after they kill her, all of her tattoos come off her and manifest themselves as actual animals. And those animals, those snakes and scorpions and tarantulas and stuff, are all attacking all the people on the bus. And then all of a sudden, all the tattoos are tattoos again, and there's no animals on there. And some of the people are dead and some of them aren't. And they never explain it, like anything else. There's an attempt at a jump scare in this film that was neither jumpy or scary. And as I'm watching this, and they bring up that whole virgin thing, one of the first thoughts I had was, please don't just have this girl have sex with one of the guys on the bus. Therefore, she's no longer a virgin. Therefore, the cult will leave them alone. And I'm in Cinema Wellman, and I'm like going out loud, don't do that. That's ridiculous. Don't do oh, you're going to do that. You're going to do that. Well, that cost you 5 points. That cost them 5. That is the most ridiculous thing. Anyway, okay. So Virgin Girl goes, takes, guy's name's Peter. How subtle. And they go under the floorboard under the floor of the bus into the luggage compartment. And while the deflowering is going on, that pretty graphic scene is intercut with this full-blown blood orgy that's happening outside the party bus. I mean, they must have had 1,000 gallons of Karo syrup on this set. There is people are just bathing in the blood, and after a while, it gets to be nothing is what it gets to be after a while. Talk about, being desensitized with getting hit in the shovel. The virgin girl who's in the bottom of the bus now having sex with the guy, so to save them all from the cult, of course, it turns out that she's not even 18. And for some reason, they felt the need to bring that up. Yuck. So she turns 18 the next, forget that. All right. So now, also, so you got the intercutting. They're cutting between this graphic sex scene in the luggage compartment of a party bus and a blood orgy going on outside of the party bus. And then inside, this is being intercut with the passengers on the bus that are cutting open the stomach of the dead tattooed bus driver on the off chance that she swallowed the keys to the bus. That's why they're doing it. Can't find the keys. Let's slice her open. I bet you she swallowed them. Keys. And she did swallow the keys. It's just so ridiculous. All these, visceral covered keys. So, hey, we got the keys to the bus now. Turns out that the virgin girl actually turns out to be the chosen one. And while having sex, she turns into a demon and she kills and eats the boy who was deflowering her. Okay. They went, what did they go? Praying mantis on that. Is that what they did? She looks more like Predator than she does like, praying mantis. And she actually sounds like Predator too. Maybe those filmmakers maybe should have sued these people. There is a good line. There's a guy in the bathroom of the party bus, and he's not coming out because he's afraid. And his girlfriend calls him a derogatory name, and he fires back at her. He calls her the C word, and the demon virgin bursts through this very spacious the bathroom on this party bus is bigger than the bathroom in my house. Demon virgin bursts through the bathroom floor and is going to kill this guy, but she says to him before she kills him, nobody appreciates the C word. So I gave a point for that because it's true. Next, the two surviving girls take the bloody keys that were taken out of the stomach of the bus driver who swallowed them, and they drive away into the desert. Party bus breaks down. They are saved by the guy who owns the party bus company. Right away, I said out loud, he's going to attack them. He's one of them. And he is. And they murder him, and there's no reason for that at all. But then again, there's no reason for a lot of this film. Demon Virgin is normal. She's kind of werewolfy, I guess, because she's normal during the day. Her friends, who murdered the owner of Sin City Bus Company, they take his car and they're driving through the desert. And who do they come across? Well, there's Demon Virgin, and she looks normal, I guess. And they decide that she's okay. And they pick her up. I mean, why not? Now, while they're driving away, Demon Virgin, she looks normal again, points, hey, there's a wolf dog on the side of the room in which she rode in. When she points at the wolf dog, it explodes. She then turns on the radio without touching it, so she's got some kind of powers of some sort. She's the Demon Virgin. This, of course, is never explained, and that's it. That's the end of the movie. That's how they end it. A sequel is teased before the closing credits, and thankfully, it is yet to be made. So, how many points did that film rack up? Well, Bus Party to Hell is the clear winner with this one. Final score of -38 deserved each one of those negative points. And it certainly deserved to be crowned the worst in between Creep Van versus Bus Party to Hell. One of the things that really aggravated me about Bus Party to Hell was its resemblance in part to a 1975 film titled Race with the Devil that was really actually a very good thriller. And it stars Peter Fonda, Warren Oates, Laura Parker, and Loretta Swit. And in it, two couples vacationing out in a RV out west are terrorized after they witness a murder during a satanic ritual. So close enough there. So close, in fact, that the makers of this garbage actually paid homage in their own stupid way to that movie by naming characters in this movie Lara Swit, Peter Oates, and Warren Fonda. Trouble is, they never refer to these characters by full name anyway, So why do you bother? Your homage was as pitiful as the film. So that's it. That's this episode of Which Was Worse. That was a pretty easy call to make. As a matter of fact, I will say this. I would rather watch Creep Van again in its entirety than even watch the trailer for Bus Party to Hell or Party Bus to Hell, whatever you want to call it. They had trouble naming this crap. They couldn't decide. I had to do some research to figure out that these were in fact the same movie. Bus Party to Hell, Party Bus to Hell. What was that argument about? Oh, I think it's more effective this way. Oh, I think that this is going to be this. This was great. Oh, please. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And it wasn't even worthy of new friend of Cinema Woman, Tara Reid. And that's it for today. Just a quick one for us here on Cinema Wellman. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. It's at Cinema Wellman. Listen on Spotify, of course. Watch us on YouTube. Just search at Cinema Wellman for that. Read our blog at cinemawellman.blog.com. And if you want to email, if you have any ideas about upcoming episodes or comments, or if you want other films spoiled or whatever you want, I'm available. And I will answer any questions you have. And that is cinemawellman@gmail.com. And that's it for now. Coming up next, I believe, is going to be an episode about a beginner's guide to cult movies. So look for that. And until then, take care.